Tune in, turn up, the clock's ticking fast. Crypto secrets from the future and past. Magic got the spark, Dave's got the flow. Right in the blockchain, wherever it goes. The crypto magic hour, feel the power. Counting coins as we print every hour. VV magic, Dave's on the scene. Crypto dreams in a digital gleam. Oh yeah, the crypto magic hour.
Oh, that was lovely.
Does it get better? Does it get better? No.
Oh,
What is up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Right before we started, Max, our guest today, said, you guys need like a cool but corny intro song. And we said, oh, just you wait. We got you.
Tell me you haven't watched the show without telling me you haven't watched the show. But
sometimes I don't be catching the beginning all the time. You know. Sometimes I be showing up late. You're lucky I'm on time today, so I'm just saying.
Wasn't it like cheesy, catchy, like catchy, cheesy though? Like that was amazing, wasn't it? It's like
the magic away.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh, everyone's noticing your business.
Hey, there's certain things you got to do when you get invited to the Crypto Magic Hour. You know, you got to dress for success. At least that's what my grandma told me. But don't get it twisted though. Don't get it twisted. We still doing the basketball shorts underneath. This ain't no game out here. This ain't no game. You know what time it is.
He's Donald Ducking it. I love it. Let's go. Dad. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
All right. Well, that's like been one of my favorite moments of all of the shows we've done is you yelling at your mom.
So good.
So how are we doing, guys? How was your weekend?
It was good. I'm excited for this episode. Weekend was chill. Actually, no, the weekend wasn't chill. It was a shit ton of work, like rabbit hole city, AI rabbit hole city, like crazy. Yeah, it's tough out here, but we do this for a cause. We do this for a reason. And yeah, this is what we're going to talk about today is when you building a business, you're the boss, right? It's like there's nobody to look at. It's not like a paycheck to collect, right? Like at every 2 weeks. So you got to figure this shit out for yourself. But yeah, overall, other than that, it was really good. How was yours?
Mine was busy, hectic. I drove 5 hours up north. Got to see some of the VV fam. Had a great time with that. And then a little family time, and then got back last night, another 5 hours, which is rough for me because I'm not a car ride person. That's not fun. And hosted a space on I didn't host. I was on a space speaking yesterday on my drive, and yeah, busy but good. Max,
my weekend was Jenny was working both days of the weekend, so I pretty much had the day to myself. And it's funny you talk about AI, Dave, because a lot has happened within the past week or so as far as AI is concerned. And I've really been, since the beginning of the year, just focusing on our content, like heavy. So I'm figuring out ways to kind of like automate my content so I can just, throw it up there and it'll release in intervals instead of me having to like literally physically do it every day.
Yeah.
So just things like that. I've also been climbing down the AI rabbit hole of things you can do, and things are getting incredible. And some people view it like as scary, but I view it like as helpful, like very, very helpful. If you're creative enough to utilize these things, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. So yeah, I hope we can get into that soon in this show.
That's going to be a good portion of this. And like, what do we see down these rabbit holes? Why are we going down these rabbit holes? What are we actually getting out of it? Right? Like that's like the simplicity of what you just talked about, of being able to just schedule stuff out, cut up your videos, right? Like the ease of which this shit's going to happen. And people that are like, AI is going to take my job. No, AI is not going to take your job. A human that knows how to use AI.
Yeah.
That's going to be, but yeah.
what's that tool that you use, Dave, for the TikTok? Because in case Max hasn't heard of it.
So like to cut up all this stuff, I use, oh my God, why am I blank? Not CapCut, CapCut? No, it's not CapCut. I'm making that up.
CapCut does that though too, where you can
No,
like slice up.
what the fuck is it? Why am I blanking on it right now?
I have the memory of a goldfish, so I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll literally find it in 1 second, Max. But it's really it's amazing because you literally just paste your link in there and it pulls like from YouTube, wherever. And the AI does its thing from there, where it searches out all of these different like sections of the video. If you want 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, you could also like customize it. What should you actually look for? And a bunch, just so much simplicity with the captions ready to go, formatted fit, like with all the right sizes and everything, like for the different platforms, to where I'm just like, here, this is the one that I want. You select all of the different destination integrations that you've already put in there, and done. You schedule it out, bam, 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 bam. Then all of a sudden you get in the emails when it posts, and it's a life. It shortens up so much time, and I'm still looking to cut more time. So we'll get there, but let's maybe set this episode up proper.
Yeah, you guys have me feeling very what's the word? Inept, because I'm just really, you both know this, I'm really bad about like being stuck in my ways, and I do everything what I'm used to, and like stepping away from that is, I don't know, I just really struggle with it. Once I learn something new, I can, but it's like Emoji's been trying to get us to use OBS, and we did a little tutorial, and I was like, nope, I don't like it. Like, it's just too much change for me. But I'm really like hurting myself by not learning and accepting and realizing that this is stuff that's gonna like make my life a lot easier.
You have to adapt, man. You really do have to.
I know
adapt.
you do.
Like and at the rate that this stuff is moving, yo, look at Max getting all this love over here. This is crazy.
I do what I do.
What's that about you, Dave?
Wild. Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, they might be talking about Dave. I might be jumping the gun here.
Bro.
Right. My bad, man.
You got chicks in the comments asking for your digits and shit already, bro. She's like, can I get a number?
Sorry, ladies. I'm taking it.
Wild. But no, like, so for everybody that's here, for the 144 of you that are here, also, actually, one quick little like housekeeping note. So we moved Crypto Magic Hour to its own YouTube channel. I know we don't get the majority of our views from YouTube. They mostly come from X. But if you guys are on YouTube right now, you're on like the new, I guess, the dedicated one, because I feel like it was like, Magic and I talked about it. We feel like it was just getting lost amongst a lot of things, and we really want this to stand out and really push this stuff. So if y'all could subscribe on YouTube, that would be amazing. Leave some comments, the whole 9 yards. I can't wait for the scammer comments of, hey, want to come meet me on Telegram and tell me how you do this? But yeah, just to set this this episode up like properly, like what we wanted to do is, essentially talk about how do you build a business out here? And when I say in Web3, like it could be crypto, AI, it doesn't even need to be Web3 in general. I just think like a lot of us are first time, I guess when we say the word founders, right? Or business owners, like there's a lot that goes into this if you're a first time like founder. So I think the basis of this episode, I think where people might get the most out of it is we want to essentially talk about how do we get to these positions? Like now that how do we get here? Now that we're here, what are the tools that we're using? What are some of the major pitfalls that we're facing? And what does it actually take to genuinely like launch a successful business? Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know like what I'm doing at least 50% of the time. I have zero idea what the fuck I'm doing, but I have to figure it out because this to me is worth it. So yeah, just so everybody kind of understands, that's kind of like any questions you guys might have. You might have been afraid to do it on your own. Well, like just start throwing them in the chat. And like, this is kind of what like, that's the arena in which like we want to dive into. So just wanted to frame the combo.
Yeah. And the way that this conversation came up is that you and I were talking, doing some forward planning, and maybe it was because I brought up Max or something. I don't remember what it was, but I asked you, I was like you have a business, right? Like you set up some sort of business so that you can write a lot of this stuff up. And he's like, are you dumb? Of course I did. And I was like, so then I was saying that, I have a business set up as well. And then I said, and Max has just gotten his started. And so we were like, this is a great conversation to have, just because I think a lot of people get into the crypto game and or Web3, NFTs, whatever it is, making content in this field, and they don't realize that starting your own business can like help you out tremendously with all what it takes to get yourself to a certain point in your career.
Yeah.
You can get help by setting up a business, having write-offs, having expenses, while still trying to build. I mean, my refund the last couple of years has been amazing, but that's stuff that I can then take to put back into building my business, whether it be equipment, whether it be going to live events and meeting people, whether it's going to Disney, I write off my annual pass, hotel stays, all that, because I'm making content while I'm there. It's completely legit. So when did you, though, get to the point, because I'm sure you just delved into crypto, right? And then you're like, okay, wait, this could be something. So when did you decide that the moment was right to incorporate yourself?
I think it's going to obviously differ for everybody, but in 2021, you could have literally thrown, I mean, a pen at a screen and hit a crypto that was going to like 5 to 10x, you know, like when you're in a bull market, it was wild. So when you start making money, you're just like, oh shit. Then it's like, then it hits you like, damn, I got to think about taxes. And then it's like, well, what's the tax reg? What's the framework, right? And this stuff like missed me with all of it. I literally get it. Taxes, like business formation, all this shit. I was like, I don't know none of this. I don't want to know any of it, but you don't have a choice, right? So now I got to go learn what the difference is between an S Corp, a C Corp, and an LLC, what the benefits are, what the differences are, what the tax benefits are, tax breaks are. How do I set it up with crypto? And it was a whole thing. And I spent an obscene amount of time going through it. And I still don't know if I got it right at the end of the day, but I know that it has been beneficial on the tax front for me. But you get to a point where you're just like, oh shit. And just especially now where we're at now with the administration being super pro crypto, and you're starting to see all these different policies. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, the FDIC has literally given like full access. Banks now can ultimately engage in crypto activities. And that's genuinely anything. They can offer it to you just the same way they offer you a checking account. You get a cool little fucking new toaster. Maybe they give you some new, you know, this like the new, some new tokens like to sign up. Who knows? So now is probably the best time. If you're thinking about doing something, there's going to be so many more resources at your disposal than there were for probably me and a lot of others that started way back when. But yeah, you'll get to a point where you'll realize like, oh shit. And it's not for everybody, but yeah, I'm curious, Max, like when you started your business, Web3 or not, right? Like you're like, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume anything, but your content, you're creating content at the end of it. I see the videos and everything that you're doing, right? Is that what you set the business primarily up for?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cause we kind of, were inspired by Magic because she's writing everything off. And we're over here thinking like, damn, like we're paying all of this out of pocket with nothing to show for it. So we kind of have to, and then we got a little tax surprise this tax season. So we're like, okay, we really got to get our stuff together and start keeping these receipts and trying to, you know, figure out how to finagle. Okay, well we paid for this. This can be a write-off because we're making content here. Like we're at Disney, we're at Comic-Con, we're all over the place, traveling the world, making content while we do it. It's just, it makes no sense to not take advantage of, you know, these potential write-offs that we're just kind of throwing money in the air and not seeing anything come from it. So yeah, definitely this year we decided to get it together, and here we are.
And it's like as you're building, and I think a lot of people, because when I first started, and I had a good resource, the person that does my taxes was very helpful in helping me set all that up. So if you can find somebody, whether it be whoever does your taxes or outside of that, a resource that is really well versed in the stuff, I highly recommend that. Because I was like, well, how can I like have a business if I'm like not making money? And I think a lot of people think that, right? That they have to be like established first before it's legitimate. And that's not how it works at all. You know, the whole point of starting the business is to help you with those tax breaks and everything as you build your brand and really establish yourself as something. Now, at some point down the line, if it never grows into being, you know, somewhat profitable, then you may have to, you know, decide to do something else. But
yeah, and crypto taxes, I'll tell you right now, like if you were doing any sort of swap, right? I mean, any sort of like swap back in the day, like, and you were bringing all of a sudden, you were bringing this G9 form to your accountant. And he was just looking at me like, fuck you want me to do with this? And she's like, okay, maybe you're not the right guy. So, all right, now I got to go find another one. So with such a nascent industry, and this is how you can genuinely tell when you keep hearing, we're early. It's like, we genuinely are so early that to the point where your accountant, like regular tax accountants, didn't really know how to handle the majority of this because the rules weren't even written. That's how crazy it was. But now we're starting to see a lot of the rules like being written. Yeah. And I think with this, like with all this clarity, like at least when I say clarity, I mean regulatory clarity. I think people are going to be in a much better position and feel a lot more confident, like stepping into this arena. And look, if you've been thinking about it, right? Like if you create content and you like, it's something that you genuinely love, like it's not easy, right? But this is something that for me is worth all of the hard work because it's like, I'm my own boss. And I think like we can maybe discuss that because you cannot put a price on not like waking up and not having to go to a 9 to 5, not having to answer to somebody. Now there's benefits and trade-offs, don't get me wrong, right? Where it's like that regular check isn't coming every single 2 weeks, right? But if you believe in the shit that you're doing and you're actually executing, working your ass off, it's like a belief in you, then like, doesn't matter if that check comes once every 2 weeks, that one check that comes, that's going to be insane. And then 2 days later, maybe another check comes from another client and so on and so forth. But you get to determine like how much money you make. And that's a regular business owner, Web 2, Web 3, it doesn't matter. Like that's what it means. And for me, that was super, super empowering and attractive. And I'm like, I got to do it, whatever I can to essentially preserve this. So that's the driving force, like for me, honestly.
I second that. I just want to say you're speaking my language. I had made this decision a long time ago, back in 06, 07. I've only ever had one job in my life, I would say, and that was working at a hotel. And that's when I realized, like, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with however anybody makes their money. This is just my preference. I always knew from then, like, I never wanted anybody to be in control of my time. I always knew that when I wanted to make money, when I wanted to work, like it would be however much I put into it is how much I get out. And I've always valued, like, I always say this, like my grandma lives a couple blocks from me and she'll call me just randomly like, hey, I made such and such, come over and eat. And I have the freedom to do that whenever I want. Or if my kid is grown now, but like, hey, Dad, I forgot my lunch at her school. Okay, I'll take you your lunch. You know, things like that. I just, you can't put a price tag on you being able to maneuver your time and your life however you want. And so, Dave, salute. We're speaking the same language, baby. I love that.
Let's go. Yeah, it's wild, man. I mean, look, people that, and I know that a lot of people might be on the fence, right? But maybe this is a good time also to kind of just maybe really kind of show people like what's in front of them. So over the weekend, I talked about this on Reset Sunday last night. We had a 2-hour episode yesterday, and the first hour was strictly dedicated to this news. So if anybody didn't see, XAI, right, which is Elon's AI company, bought X, right? So it bought Twitter, all stock deal. All right, cool. But what does that actually mean for anybody, right? Like for everybody that's maybe like creating content here. You got like, you see that like the viewership that we're getting and the stuff that the majority of the time that we're spending is on this platform. What Elon did by doing this is he's now purchased like the biggest social media platform that has 600 million active users, that is humanly generating content in real time that only his AI now will have exclusive access to. And what that means for people like us who are out here doing this Twitter Spaces thing, creating content, running different accounts, or whatever the case is, if you are on X right now and you are part of a community, building a community, part of a project founder, running a business, a marketing agency, you name it, across the board. What Elon did this weekend was literally serve you up the future on a silver fucking platter. Because where are brands going to go, right? Where is Google going to get their real-time, like human-generated real-time data from? Data is what fuels these AIs. Like, and you cannot, when I tell you, you cannot put a price on the data, on the value of the data, to the point where it actually bought Twitter. XAI bought Twitter. Twitter absorbed 12 billion in debt, and then at that point still was valued at $80 billion, which is 2 or 3 times more than what it was in its last valuation round, which is crazy. And I still think that's probably undervalued. Elon has the vision to make this application X, the quote everything app is what he calls it, where you're going to be able to do everything on here. So if you're here and you're creating content or you're contributing some way, somehow, you are in the most fortunate position possible. And I hope you guys see that. Like, this is the time for you to be able to really say, like, oh shit, don't give up, like, keep going. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Do you think, would you equate this to, gosh, it's been probably 15 years or something, that YouTube became like the resource for getting discovered? You know, you had people who were just creating music in their garage, and some celebrity or producer found them and made them a star. I mean, are you sort of saying it's kind of like a similar thing, is now people are going to be found for jobs or talent or art or whatever the case may be via X?
I think it's across the board, but what I think the biggest thing is, right, is Twitter is the town square. It's the real-time intelligence town square, right? You look at what happened with YouTube, and I'm not going to get political here, but, you know, the censoring of content, right, during the whole COVID shit, and like people like, and how they dictate everything for you, right? Granted, Elon has a creator program here, and you do have to meet like certain requirements, but you can genuinely build, if you let's say even don't have, like, you're not monetized, which by the way, I am not, right? But I've built a business because I know that this is what people are going to value: real conversations with real, essentially like industry titans, real playmakers, like real people that are making real decisions and innovating insanely. If you actually look at what's going on the conversations that are going on LinkedIn and Instagram, yeah, you might get engagement that might be better on TikTok or Instagram. Cool. But the innovation is happening here, and it's happening insanely fast. So quick.
Web3 relies on networking. Do y'all think people that aren't as an extrovert can thrive working in the industry? I feel like this is a good segue because of this exact conversation.
Yeah, 100%. Acro, I'll tell you this, right? A lot of people that I do business with, some of them I've never met in person. I've literally just talked to them on the phone. I've maybe had like a Google Meet with them, or our conversations are strictly happening over Telegram, right? So extrovert or introvert, right? Unless you obviously want to be a Spaces host, right? Which not everybody has to be. There's a million other things that you could be doing in order to really like drive like a ton of value to like a lot of these, like, I mean, top tier brands that are here now and that are going to come. You don't have to be like a lot of the people that I work. People hire me because they're introvert, right? Like, and they're in the position that they're in. So it could easily be, and it doesn't have to be your own business. I know that's the topic here, but there's so many available jobs like in Web3 that pay really fucking well, that it doesn't matter, like remote jobs where you have the flexibility. You can be a digital nomad traveling here and there, right? Like, think about that. Like, look at Skeet, right? I feel like Skeet's the perfect example. Like, Skeet's traveling all over the world. He's like literally digital nomad, and he can do his job from anywhere. That is the quintessential Web3 job. So Acro, the answer to your question is 100% yes. You can not only find an opportunity, but you can succeed and really shine in an opportunity. You just got to be able to go find the right one for you.
Yep. And I think you still want to, you can't just sit behind a handle and not do anything. You have to be out there, whether it's listening to Spaces and posting in the comments and, your own takes on things, getting involved in different conversations. I mean, it doesn't have to be your voice or your face out there creating content. There's plenty of people that create content and they're faceless, and they're very successful.
Yeah. Think about that, right? Like,
yeah, you're right.
Well, 1,000 plus, however many, whatever, 1,500 spaces, and it's like faceless. The same way that you see faceless YouTubers, right, that are creating these things where all my timeline is I created a faceless YouTube. First month 300, second month 800, third month 2,000, fourth month fucking 5,000. It's like, these people are out there doing this shit, and there's the tools out here to be able to do it. The thing is, you just have to be willing to put the time in, because nobody's going to hand it up to you, right? Like, it's not just going to be like, hey, here you go. Here's like a business ready-made, ready to go. It does take time. Like, it really, really does take time. But when you're able to actually like do it and see something through and genuinely add value to like someone or a community or a project, whatever, when you start finding your lane, it's so fucking rewarding. Like, it really genuinely is rewarding. And I can't stress that enough. Yeah.
You're so right. Like, I think you can't stress enough about being a self-starter. The both of you are two of the hardest working people that I know. And you don't have a boss. You are your boss. But if you don't have that tenacity and drive, you aren't going to get anywhere, because there's nobody, you don't have a manager doing it for you or telling you, this is exactly what I need you to do today. You have to wake up with your own plan of action and do it. Because if you don't do it, it's not going to get done, and you're not going to build.
It's discipline, Max, like the discipline that you got to have. But I feel like those are traits that kind of like that you kind of learn, right? Like, Max, I know you play ball a lot. Like, you know, like, you have to be disciplined in a lot of the shit that you do in your life, right? Like, with who you are. And if you have that discipline, I think being a business owner becomes not easy, but it's just one less thing that you have to worry about, because you understand the responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, you get, like, you understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also personally, I have like a why, you know, like my family and like the history of my family. I was one of the first people in my family that I go to college, you know, stuff like that, like I feel like a responsibility to just keep climbing. And then I feel a responsibility to have my kid be even like, you know, so it's a purpose is also very important, you know, to do what you do.
Yeah.
You're so right, Max, because like, I come from a family of self-made business people, and, you know, worked with my dad for, you know, a decade learning, and he, you know, really wanted me to like follow in his footsteps and basically hand the business off to me. You know, and then I had a family, but once my kids got to like preschool age, I was missing something. Like, I just didn't feel like I was me anymore. And I needed something that made me feel productive, following in my family's footsteps, really like just purposeful. And that's how like I kind of came into this whole thing of doing content and going to events and working Comic-Cons and then stepping outside the box and like delving into stuff that I don't know, because I want to grow whichever way is the way forward, because sometimes you have to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to keep throwing, because I don't give up. But this was like, you're spot on. Like, you really like have this drive and purpose, and a lot of what's gone on in your life and the way you were raised plays into this. It plays into people being really successful entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many facets to like this entire thing, right? It's like, what kind of business are you building? Then it's like, now we can get into like the weeds. Let's go down like rabbit hole city now. Now it's like, okay, well, what the fuck do y'all do on a daily basis? You know, because I can't tell you how many times my friends, family ask, like, what do you do every day? And it's just like, I talk. And they're like, what? I'm like, well, yeah, it's this audio thing on Twitter and And it's like, you became an influencer. And I'm like, no, I am not a social media influencer. Refer to myself as an educator. Bildo came up. Bildo, what was the one you came up? Someone say rabbit hole. Bildo came up with a good one yesterday. He said, instead of KOL, you know how there's like key opinion leaders? He was like, we're going to be KAILs, like the KAILs, the key artificial intelligence, the key artificial intelligence leaders. But yeah, it's all a matter of also like, so now what do you do on the daily basis, right? And if I'm being honest with you guys, I tell myself like, okay, look, because I'm not very organized. And that's the one area. Maybe we could talk about like the hiccups that y'all face, like with any of this shit. My organizational skills are just bad. I know.
I know.
Yeah, really bad. But when I show up, I'm showing up, right? Like I'm ready, but it's managing all of these different things, right? Of like calendar, because you're, as a business owner, you're responsible, like your sales, your marketing, your admin, you got to do everything at the end of the day. So I don't think people realize that going into it. So Max, what I'm doing now is I'm literally trying to figure out, how do I automate my whole fucking business life? Like what tools do I need in order to automate everything to where I can be as hands off as possible and just show up to like a space to host, right? With all of my materials ready, right? And this is the stuff that I constantly work on, that I'm iterating, where I'm like, okay, if I get Junie, right, like to essentially, I just feed Junie one link and it's just like, this is what we're talking about. Or I feed Grok one link. Okay, here's the opening monologue. This is the ad read for the client. And this is what you need to talk about. And here's your list of questions. So this way, when I show up, I'm just like, one button, thank you, done. That's insanely helpful, right? Insanely helpful. So automation is definitely going to be a massive factor, like in all of this. In addition to the kind of content creation tools. Max, are you using any of the automation stuff for the business shit instead of like content creation, like AI shit?
Yeah, so I'm discovering that whole new world of automation for my content. Usually, I recently got on. I don't know if you've heard of Metricool, but so I have different YouTube channels. I have different channels for different things, right? And it lets you have different brands, and then with those different brands, you can then you can schedule your posts, and it brings in like the nuances of each. So like the nuances of YouTube, where you can only have a certain number of characters, the nuances of TikTok, where you can have like TikTok uses hashtags as opposed to YouTube. It doesn't. All of those are brought into one system. And then what I do is I just try to, like, for one of my channels, I'm ahead a whole month. So I have a whole month, three videos a day for a whole month. Like I'm already out. So that gives me more time to focus on this channel that I want to grow, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to see the sprouts of it working. I know it's just a drop in the bucket, but like Janie and I were looking at like metrics yesterday, which for us it's like not a thing to do, you know, but we did. And we've had our TikTok channel for 2.5 years now. In 2.5 years, we grew to 150 subscribers, and in 2 months we grew it to over 300. So like it's starting to kind of like, you know, snowball, and I'm starting to kind of see the little sprouting of that. So it's very motivating to like, okay, this stuff is working. Keep building, you know? Yeah. So Metricool is one, and then I'm just using a whole bunch of like AI. I don't know if you've heard of like Kling AI. I'm pretty sure you have. I've heard of Halu or something like that, but
yeah. So a lot of the video stuff primarily for you, right?
Yes, for me.
The majority of what you create is mostly like video content, right?
Yeah. And then so what I'm doing is I'm using ChatGPT to automate scenarios, and then I'm using those scenarios into videos, and then I'm using the same ChatGPT to give me like words, you know, like, you know how the videos will have like today or whatever, it'll say something. Yeah. GPT helps me with that. I feed it into an AI and just merge the videos together in the video editor and start spitting them out. You know, it's kind of like a process, but you have to find your groove. You know, once you find your rhythm of how you want to do things, then you just like take a day off, automate for the next month, and then you're good to go. And then, you know, grow from there. So
imagine how crazy that like what you just described would have been without these AI tools, right? Like it's almost like this is what I'm saying. Like that's probably prevented the majority of us from really like diving into this stuff, because it's like, it's never been, when I say easier, like the tools have never been so readily available to allow you to do the job of like 4 to 5 people, right? Like I would have never been able to create a website. I would have never been able to code a website. I would have never been like none of this shit, right? I would have never been able to figure out like, how do I repurpose content from Twitter Spaces, right? Like, what do I do? And I realized like, this is some of the most valuable fucking content out here. How do I repurpose this? And literally that's exactly what I sell to the majority of my clients. It's like, look, I have like data, like I have content on content on content. It's just how to repurpose it. And AI has allowed me to repurpose it in so many different and interesting fashions that it's like that is what allows me to like to be really, really valuable to a lot of people. I love that. Max, 1 month, man, you fucking plan, bro. A content calendar for a whole month. Oh my God.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
We can't even get more than 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I swear, we genuinely can't even get 2 weeks ahead. I'm scheduling spaces 5 minutes before the space sometimes is actually supposed to start. This is a scheduled space from like a week ago, but yeah, but that is the name of the game. Is like scheduling out content is huge. It really is huge. I recently
it relieves a lot of stress too. For me,
really
like
it really
And
does.
it helps with the algorithm because you stay consistent, and it pushes
Yeah.
more content to users because it sees that you're constantly on their platform pushing out content.
Yep, 100%.
Speaking of algorithm, this was a conversation that Dave and I were having the last time we talked, and I want to see if you agree with me, Max, or not. But it's also important to know Max and I are still trying to figure out algorithms. Like, I'll make a video and think like this was so good, this is gonna get so many views, and it gets like a couple hundred. I posted a video last night of a damn goat and it got over 1,000 views before I went to bed, and I posted a couple hours before. I'm like, how? But I was telling Dave that I think he needs to take advantage of hashtags, and I use Chat GPT for that. And he said, well, isn't it like Twitter though? Because Twitter like doesn't like the hashtags. And I said, I found if I get like the right hashtag for TikTok, it does help my video. But I'm curious what you think about that.
Who, me or Dave?
Max.
Yeah.
Max.
It's I think it's just platform specific because I think on TikTok it really does work. I think also on Instagram hashtags seem to work. I'm starting to like stress test different things because sometimes I upload the same video to 2 different channels, and on one channel it'll do incredible, and on another channel it'll be like a complete failure, you know? So I think that's so crazy how the algorithms just treat channels differently. But yeah, Instagram and TikTok, I think they do work. I think they're kind of useless on Twitter, maybe, and Facebook and YouTube. Well, YouTube is more, it's not hashtags, it's just tags, like the words. But you can also tell ChatGPT, these same hashtags, give them to me, but just separated by commas. And it'll take the same thing and just give it to you and just copy and paste and go. So, yeah.
So
yeah, the YouTube TikTok thing is really strange too, because I tend to duplicate my video in both spots, and one will do really well in one spot and not in the other. Like almost every single time, one will do like amazing on TikTok and not on YouTube, or vice versa. Like I had a video of Red Hulk, and that's like my best short on YouTube, and it has I don't know 14,000. Yeah,
Red Hulk,
go figure.
like,
like
from where to where? That's wild, right? Like I was actually talking to Janie, like, so Janie Parker, shout out to Janie. She just like, I essentially like Twitter pilled her, where I'm like, listen to me, you need to start doing live content and stream it to Twitter, because this is where like your viewability is going to come. This is where people watching the show is actually going to happen. And she was like, for real? Yeah. She came on, she did one, and she was just like, holy shit. It was like, there was over 100 people or something. And meanwhile, she's like used to like having 7 people in her thing. And she's like, oh my God, yesterday or 2 days ago over the weekend, I introduced her to this whole, you know, like if you see on the timeline, what I did for Reset Sunday, the whole Ghibli, like Studio Ghibli thing, right? Where everyone's kind of like animating up their whole, you know, all their shit. I did the anime plus the video animation with the lip sync. And I'm like, you see this shit, Janie? I'm like, look, 5,000 impressions. I was like, I never would have gotten this shit anywhere else. She was like, dude, I was on a walk, and I literally put up like some stupid post about like a prompt on GPT, whatever. She goes on TikTok. It's fucking cooking. She's like 30,000 views. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, so here's my takeaway. Throw everything out there.
Yes.
Like, there is no perfect fucking science. Whatever you think in your mind, like, that's not going to be good.
Yes.
You have no idea. None.
Preach.
Understand that you have, like, be okay with knowing that you have no fucking clue, and then that's when you can start succeeding and just throwing your shit out there, right?
Yes, Dave, preach, brother. Dave. So I'm in that era or phase in my like content creator mind where it's just like, just post, baby, just post, you know. And for the couple of people that don't like it, there could possibly be 100 people that do, you know. I used to think like, damn, what if this goes against my brand, or what if like somebody doesn't mess with it? Like, what if they don't like it? Doesn't matter. Like, somebody else will. And that's the thing. You have to think like abundantly instead of like scarcity of who won't like it. Think of who will like it. For example, Dave, shout out to Emily for just planting that seed. But I did a live stream of me watching a basketball game, Dave. Me watching a basketball game. It was damn near 200 people in there watching me watch a basketball game. And so Janie, I was telling Janie, like, who does, like, I'm thinking so close-minded that Janie is like, you never know who wants to watch you. You never know who doesn't have a buddy to watch a basketball game with that just want to kick it with you, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm over here thinking like, damn, you're right, you know? So you just never know. The goat video, you never know who likes goats, you know, or who thinks it's just
Really, a lot of people like goats.
Goats kill it. They kill it.
That's the thing. Just think abundantly and just post, baby. If you want to grow, you have to like stress test different things to see what may or may not work, and then you take off in that direction, knowing like, okay, this content seems to work. What can I do around here? And so that's kind of where I'm at in the magic. Just throw stuff and see what sticks, and you know, you kind of get an idea for what people like, and you go from there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you had started doing that during COVID?
Yeah.
Live streaming, you like watching sports?
Yeah. My mom
That
tells
would
me
have
that
been
all the time.
insane.
Yeah.
It totally would have been insane.
So question for you guys, right? Because Magic, this is something that you and I obviously had, you know, I don't want to say extensive combos about, but we're always thinking about like, okay, now like if we're going to do this, right? Like this has to be worth our time, because now time is the most valuable commodity you have as a business owner, right? It's like, where do I spend my time and what am I going to do during that time? And then that leads to the question of, well, how do I monetize, right? Like, where is the money going to actually come from for this, right? Like for this effort. And Magic, you and I talked about like, well, do we launch like a new page? Do we launch on your page? And you're like, well, I'm already monetized. And we were like, that kind of makes sense, you know, but in all fairness, I don't think either of us knew enough about like how this whole shit was going to work or how things were going to go for us to say, yeah, like that's the best decision. And that's okay. Like, who cares? Like like at this point, we were just like, you know what? I think it makes sense, because now that we're seeing viewership, right? Like we're almost at 1,000 viewers, 1,000 people now. And now we're going to start seeing 1,000, 2,000 people like on a regular weekly basis. This probably needs its own thing, right? Like we probably need to launch this on its, like it has to sit someplace by itself where people can come consume all of this if they whatever they want to see, right? We can't have it kind of get lost. So for us, it was like the monetization. Okay, cool. I didn't think about it from YouTube perspective, right? Like I'm pitching Magic Hour to clients, right? Different prospects, right? To me, like this has to be valuable to somebody, right? And we've been doing this like 10 weeks or so, and we've had a couple of bites and people that are interested. I think I'm just kind of feeling out like what people actually need, right? Like what is the value that we're actually driving here? And you also have to have numbers, right? Like you have to have some numbers to back it up, right? Max, what you were saying in terms of what are the metrics behind things? Because a normal question for a potential advertiser is obviously going to be, how many people you got watching? Who are those people, right? Like what is this? Like what's the deal? The same way that when somebody on Twitter Spaces or on Twitter wants to hire me to host a space, send me your rate card. I send them literally a full-on one-page, straight, I mean, beautifully crafted bio of me, essentially 4,100 spaces participated in. God, that makes me nauseous just to think about. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I've either spoken in, attended, hosted, or co-hosted in 4,100 plus spaces. I show my stats. I show my listenership. I show my like the clients that I host spaces for, and for them. And then it's like, then that ultimately then goes down to pricing. And then when they see the pricing, it's like, okay, I have a good idea as to this is what we're looking for, right? This guy's got good attendance, good live viewership. He's across the board. He knows his shit. Like these are the areas of expertise he focuses on, and it makes them that much more comfortable, and it justifies the price point that I charge for running a Twitter space, you know? So like the monetization aspect, and I'm curious how like you guys think about it. Like I told Magic right off the bat, Max, like it's not going to be YouTube. Like to me, I thought that model was completely flawed. I'm not trying to break my back out here for literally like cents, not even cents. It's like hundreds of tens of pennies on the dollar, and you have to work your ass off. And I see how much you guys do. It is fucking hard. I'm not trying to go that route. I think there's a much like quicker route. So I'm kind of curious, like how you're thinking about it.
So for me and Janie, we've had this discussion often, and I'll be fully transparent and letting you know, like we don't have the end goal figured out as much as we have like the middle part figured out. Like the middle
Yeah.
part is we're gonna keep our heads down and keep grinding. And something like it's just the laws of physics. Something will come out of this, whether it's through affiliate links, whether it's through getting hired somewhere, whether it's through sponsorships. We're just moving in full faith that hard work always pays off, you know. So and we've thought about pretty much everything. Like for example, myself, I'm a walking production studio. Like affiliate links for Sony cameras, for 360 cameras, for my, you know, every time we go to Disney, we're wearing something that can be affiliate marketed, you know, like
Yeah,
you just have to get so creative with everything that you do.
Yep.
Stuff like that, you know, we have mulling over in our heads. But yeah, as far as like the last part, we don't know how we're going to get there, but we know that we're going to get there if we just keep our head down and keep going, you know? So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Max, we got
I
to
hear from you. I want to hear from you. And I just want to pin something for Max, and it's networking, but I want to come back to that one. But go ahead. Sorry, Magic.
I think that's kind of where I'm at too. I just want to comment on what he said, that I feel like the three of us need to have, not you, Dave.
What?
I said the three of us. I said, not you, Dave. I'm talking about Janie.
What's up?
Need to have like more like serious conversations about this stuff, because like something that Max and Janie and I are really, really passionate about is going to events. But like, and we have immense talent and really bring something to the table, and in our own special ways, and Max especially with the content. But like, we out here trying to get paid. So but like there are other ways to do it. And
you know what also is the hard part that I think might be just a Max issue is the ask part. Like and Janie's told me about this before, like shoot or shoot, you know, shoot or shoot. But I don't know why we're so like gun shy to be like, hey, you know, we kind of do deserve what X or for what we do, you know, stuff like that is the part that
and we have done that, Max. We just need to go outside of the box now. I think we need to think outside the box.
Be creative and hone in. You know what I mean? So that's also part of it as well.
I'll say this. I think Max, I think you hit a very, very like sensitive like subject, right? Because the majority of people that I run into, and this goes back to kind of Afro's question in the beginning, where she said the introvert, extrovert, like if like I'm not used to doing that. The majority of people are not used to like being in a quote like sales closing role, right? And as a business owner, again, you're responsible for bringing in, like you have to be that person, right? Like so because you could do 95% of the work, but if that last 5%, if you don't know how, like, or you feel that kind of way of like, I don't know how to ask for business, right? Like I don't know how to do that. I know how to like my content speaks for itself. I know how to convey my value, but when it comes down to it, people, they don't know how to actually ask for business, but they also don't know how much do I actually charge for this stuff, right? Like this is new territory for a lot of people, right? I can't tell you the amount of conversations that I have with countless creators, right? Like out here where they're coming to me and it's like, I'm still like, this is still growing for me too, right? Like I might've figured out like my specific lane and what I'm good at, but there's still stuff that like, I'll come up with different shit. And it's like a different offering or a different product or service that I'm like, shit, this actually really works. Like people are really interested in this, right? Like me creating a tweet thread, right? With audiograms that are visually nice with like sound clips inside. It's branded with their brand right after a space. And it's like, that's the full recap, 10 tweets, the whole 9 yards. Is $250 like enough for that? Is it too much? I don't know. To some people, and that's what each person has to kind of figure out on their own, but also be in touch with what the actual market is dictating as well. That's the other thing. So talk to as many people as possible. And I think this is where the VV fam has a massive advantage over a lot of others, because we have people in so many different like parts of this Web3 space, right? That you can tap into so many different people, right? Like a lot of people come to me and they ask me for crypto stuff, right? Or hosting spaces. And it's like, okay, well, how do I expand my network? Because as cheesy as this shit sounds, your network out here is 100% your net worth. It's not even a question in my mind. The people that you know are going to be the ones like to either refer you business, give you business, right? And that makes things a lot easier for those that maybe aren't too comfortable with like, I don't know. I don't really know how to ask for this business. You know, I'm not sure. So now you maybe have a buffer, right? Comics and crypto. I'll tell you guys like right now, like I was planning so many things with comics and crypto, right? When I was with Wolf Web 3, because I'm like, these guys have a lock on so much shit, so much stuff, but it never came to fruition because whatever, one side couldn't see for the other. It's like cost of doing business. But I learned so much during that process of like how valuable comics and crypto genuinely are, like as an entity in the business, how valuable I am. And who else now can I go out and actually try and pitch this shit to? But yeah, the network is everything. Get outside your comfort zone, because the sooner you start getting comfortable being uncomfortable, that's when you're going to be able to really see essentially what you're capable of and like how successful your business is going to be.
Thank you for that, Dave. Thank you for saying that, because
yeah,
I have so much trouble reaching out. Oh, he's probably busy. Like, I don't want to bother such and such. Like, you're busy doing something, you know, like just figure it out on your own, you know? And yeah, that kind of needs to change. And I appreciate you, King. Thank you for saying that.
Bro, I'm telling you, listen, I went through I was making fucking cold calls, hundreds a day, getting no. When you're immune to rejection like I am, I could care less if I get. I know it's a numbers game, and you pile that onto, I really drive a serious ton, like a shit ton of value out here to a lot of these brands, and a massive people might see it as like, oh, like he sounds like he's no, I have an unwavering like confidence in myself, because if I don't fucking believe in me, who the fuck is going to believe in me? Right? Like that's the thing. If you operate from that arena, build your network, build partnerships, friendships, even if it's not money, it doesn't matter. I can't tell you how many people that I've met that I still like keep in touch with that have referred me so much business, but like they've never actually done business with me. Like that's massively, massively valuable to me, right? But you got to value the shit that you're doing. But look, if you're ever getting stuck at a specific step, there's people out here to be able to help, or somebody knows somebody that can help you. You just got to ask. And
those are lessons that I learned in the real estate game. Like going back to you making cold calls, bro. When you become immune to getting the door slammed in your face, like the sky's the limit. Like, what are you afraid of that? You know?
Yeah.
And then once you do like you said, the referral game. Once you do a good job for one person, they'll refer you to their uncles, their aunts, their cousins, their sisters. You know, like, so you just got to make sure you do right by the people that you're working with or for. And stuff will start to snowball. So yeah, bro, I totally, you're right.
This all stems to, and I never was like the believer in this shit. Like growing up in Brooklyn, it's just like, it's the real world out here. I don't got time to think about this, how to think and my mental state, emotions. No. Business and success is very much tied to your thought process, how you think about yourself, how you view your business. If you don't view your business as being successful, if you can't visualize yourself being successful, then how are you supposed to project success? I used to hear that shit and I'm like, this is pie in the sky. Like, let me just go work my ass off and the rest will figure itself out. No, like you have to think this way. Nobody's better at me than at doing what I do. I am the best at what I do. I have to be the best at what I do. And I'm going to make sure that people see that I'm the best at what I do, right? And look, like, especially Twitter's unfucking relenting. Like, people are going to hate. They're going to say this. They're going to say that. But you know what? I'm not in this for them. I'm in this for me, my friends, my family. Like you said at the beginning, Max, why the fuck do I do this? What's my why? And now you need to just act accordingly, like act as if, man. And for me, yeah. And I can't, like, I really want to implore people that are watching this, like, you have to have that unwavering belief in you from the second you fucking wake up in the morning. You might think it's a bad day or you're tired or you're this or you're that. It's just like, forget all that. Like, just get up and get to it. Just get cracking, right? And believe that what the shit that you're doing is super valuable, and let the market dictate it, right? The market will. And Max, you're seeing it now. Like that example you gave of like, took us 2 years to get 150 or whatever. In 2 weeks, we literally doubled our followership. That's
that's just like a drop in the bucket of what I'm expecting. Like I'm expecting hella growth, and it's just like you got to move accordingly. And so that's what we're doing, you know. But right,
go seize your opportunities, people. Nobody's gonna go nobody's gonna come give you anything, especially in Web3. they're going to try and steal it. Like we were just talking about security, like, you know, or we're going to talk about next week. Like they're trying to take your money out here. Forget like opportunity. So now you have to be even more keen to be able to spot an opportunity where you could potentially fit yourself in. And I'll just say this last thing. Like if you're in the Web3 space, the opportunity that it presents to genuinely create your own job, for fuck's sake, I know we laugh about it, but my profile says Chief Vibes Officer. Guys, what the hell are we talking about? In what world is a Chief Vibes Officer like a real thing? You know what's real? The money I get every fucking 2 weeks from WagMe Hub, who pays me a decent amount of money to essentially run their spaces and essentially consult with them and essentially build out brand partnerships. That's real. So I don't care. Like people are going to laugh at you, right? They're going to think it's stupid or this. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? You're going to be the one laughing at the end of the day. That's all that matters. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
It goes back to the, you know, our great space that we had, which we're getting close to having the same viewership about the mental stuff. And the creating business in this space, you have to be super strong mentally, because you will get beat down. You will get attacked for anything and everything. And from my standpoint, it's very interesting to see sometimes the reactions. Most of the time I don't give a rat's ass, like catch me never. But there are certain times, if you come for me, I will not back down. I'm tough and I will call you out. But you have to find that balance, because you can't let that take away from like your energy and bring you down and what you're trying to build on your own. And so it's like this balance. And when I don't always get it right, but you got to be strong out here. You got to be really confident to be able to take a lot of what gets thrown at you on a daily basis.
Yeah. That's what makes out here so unique, right? Is you have to be able to manage a lot, because sometimes it's like when we're all in spaces, it's like we're in a fuck around space. It's like we're all just friends hanging out, right? But then it's like, well, I got to plan other space, right? Like now I got to, like, well, you know how we laugh and we say Millie said we got to put the suit on, right? So it's just like, shit, let's put the suit on and go to work, right? And we do have to do like those things. Like it's just being able to balance that. If you can balance that, you're good, right? Like I go to Millie spaces and the bus stop and all this other stuff. I need that to like de-stress, right? Like that's like my outlet to just be like, okay, I don't have to create an agenda. I don't have to think about questions. I don't have to think about how I'm going to manage this space or who do we invite? Is it the right speakers? Like that's just like, come be you. And I mean, that's obviously super necessary for certain people, but obviously everyone has their own different ways. But yeah, Max, I'm kind of curious.
It's like our Monday space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like your oasis for us, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we do some organization, but it's mainly just about vibes and just a chill hangout. And it like sort of refuels us, because a lot of the stuff that you're hearing all the stuff that we do on a daily basis, all the planning, all the hard work, all the stress. And like that one is one where we're like, yeah, it's planned, but it's, you know, you get to just kind of relax into it more. I'm sorry, you were going to ask
what kind of how much of a role you play, like simple, like being like the maestro of the games and spaces, like that in and of itself, like obviously from a memory perspective, right? But like that is a massively valuable skill to build and like forge community, right? Like think about that. Like that is a massive, massive skill set. It really is, and a valuable.
And nobody else does it.
Yeah. Like who else is doing something like that? So like to me, and we've had these conversations, and we've even tried it, like where we were like, look, like we could do this, we can create an AI for you, and we can like have it like come up with the questions, this and that. And it was just like cool, but like the way in which you do that is massive, massive value for a lot of people. I think like, but hearing when you say like, I just don't know like how to like that last part of going to like ask for it. You know how many like communities are probably dying for somebody like that to come in and be able to do that with their community. They just don't have anyone. Like there's so many of them, bro. So many. So yeah.
Okay, Dave, can I help? You're going to be so thrilled. You know how last week we just made fun of you and your boogers?
Oh yeah. Not my runny nose. Fucking idiots. Used to eat sand. Yeah. Yes.
Bro, do you know that Janie licks the powder off the chips and just puts them back into a bowl?
What? What do you mean?
Janie will take a taki.
He said, "What do you mean?"
Janie will take a taki, lick the powder off of it, and then discard it back into a bowl.
Oh, she's not in it for the
That's
chip
serial killer
Damn.
tendencies, bro.
Janie's raw dog and chips. That's crazy. She's just like, boop. Wow. Wow.
That last one we did was a really good, and Max is so clever with some of the ideas because we don't play games every time, but it's really fun to like add a game in there, and it just kind of loosens people up and just gets to like that friend vibe of what we're trying to do here. But Max came up with the idea. He's like, what if we did like secret guilty pleasures and people DM them to us and reread them, and then what gamified it is everybody's in the space trying to guess who said what, and then you'd find out some of them were like shocking and they're like, what? Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah, I heard cash flow got cooked on a lot of those, poor guy. Yeah, sorry about that. I was telling Millie, we did the same thing in story time where I had everybody come up with like, you know, like a real 21st birthday story and like what you were doing. But like I was going to have Junie change up the whole shit and everyone had to guess what it was. And she like, you know, she embellished a little bit, but never in a million years would I have thought that fucking Dian Hanano would have been outside of fucking Kmart watching it burn down on the, you know, on his 21st birthday, or Bildo fucking, you know, using something with a honey bun wrapper in jail, or Landy at a strip club with drugs. And yeah, you learn some shit about community. That's valuable. So valuable. Bildo with the fucking honey. What was the thing, Bildo? What was it? What'd you do with the honey bun wrapper? Wipe your ass with a honey bun wrapper.
I want to get back to a point you guys were talking about earlier in the whole networking thing with building the business. And I think Max and I are definitely on the same page where we're just doing anything and everything and seeing what sticks. And I got presented with an opportunity to create something with a logo. And I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I work with certain programs and stuff, but I'm going to be kind of teaching myself. But at the same time, like, if I have a job sitting in front of my lap, am I going to turn it down? Hell no. I'm going to go out and learn what I need to do and make it happen, especially for some really good money. But I have friends in this community that do that for a living and are genuine friends of mine. And I can ask them questions and they're going to want to help me. Like they will want to help me just as I've helped them. And that's also important, is having mutually beneficial friendships. It can't just be take. There has to be give too. And so I'm like, and I know this person that I reached out to, we've already gone back and forth a little bit. I know he'll jump on a call with me. Like, what do you need? How can I help you? This is what you need to do. But that network piece, and that's us being in this space for the last 4 years, has helped us build and just cultivate these relationships that really mean something and can be really, and you don't even know when you meet somebody and you start talking to them, you never know where it's going to go. You never know how that can add value back into your life further down the road.
One introduction can change the course of every single thing that like you're doing, right? If I can go back and really think about, like, was there one moment? I don't know if there was like one moment, but I do remember where somebody came to me and said, hey man, like I want to do this. And then I listened to you on a space and I want to do a series of 8 spaces. You know, how much does it cost? And I remember for that first time, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I know what other people are charging, right? I'm going to charge X, right? And I went to them and this was, I mean, 1,000% above where I was normally charging. I was just kind of finding my footing. And that was the moment where I was like, this is where I need to value me. And it's like, but there's always that fear, right? Of like, if I give them this and they're like, what are you, fucking crazy? It's like, did I miss out on money? That needs to just be out of your head. When I gave him the quote, guy didn't even blink. I probably could have given him twice the amount of money, like the quote, and he would have been like, okay, no problem. But like, that's what I mean is like, like the network that you have is it could be one simple thing. And when that one simple thing comes along, you can't be afraid to just fucking go. Like, just go.
I
Like,
think that's where the like the abundance mentality comes in, Dave, which
yeah,
we're developing on our end too. But like, and if that person didn't pay you that amount of money, the next person will, you know.
that's it.
Instead of thinking, oh God, like I'll never get hired or whatever, you just think, okay, next, somebody will, and then you just keep going from there. So, well, I'm proud of you, Dave. Good shit.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true, man. Like that's what this is. Like you have to be afraid. Like we say, shoot or shoot. Like keep shooting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get everything, but at the end of the day, you'll realize like, so now when I got that client, and it's like, all right, this guy saw how much I was worth. When the next person came along, I'm saying to
That's
myself,
leverage.
right? Can I
Yeah.
ask for more? Do I have enough like to justify asking for more or just the same, right? Am I going to be able to still convey the value, right? And that comes back to now, am I executing every single day? And this is why, like, whether I run a space or something that I'm creating, or it's like repurposing like content or creating audiograms, right? Like you always need to be driving value, right? No matter what you're doing. Like somebody has to find this shit valuable. And that's where you just have to like be in tune with the market and whoever it is that your potential market or audience is, to be able to understand, like, is this actually going to be valuable for somebody? Like, really? Like, yeah, it probably will be. Because if you're putting in that much work, and you're somewhat sane and you're like, hey, this is something. And especially if you get traction, because Max, like, I'll agree with Millie, man. Some of the shit that I saw you guys play, I was like, this shit's going to be a Disney commercial one day. I was like, yeah, bro. Like, that shit should be. You know what I mean? Like, it should, in my opinion, right? And
Yeah.
there is no reason why, like, it can't be. Like, I don't care if it's Disney or any other brand or anybody or anything else. Like, 100%. You keep making shit like that, and you'll see, like, eventually something's going to fall into place. Somebody's going to see it, like whatever. You're going to meet someone, done and done. Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, Dave. Appreciate it, baby.
Hell yeah.
I want to say also like lessons learned, and maybe you guys can share if there's something that you've learned along the way. But one thing you said that sticks with me is how one introduction can change the course of many different things. And I've had several opportunities, but I'm also like, I know what I want and I know what I'm passionate about, to a fault. But I had one opportunity where it was just based off of people hearing me in spaces and hearing how passionate I was about what I was talking about, and just listening. I got offered a job, like a full-time job, but I was so like, how? And that's what people need to realize, is this one introduction thing can really change a lot of things. I was like, this can't be real. Like, you don't know me. Like, how can you offer me a job when we've barely spent any actual time, like who I am as a human, who they are as humans. Like I don't get it. Like, and I thought it was a too good to be true. And it was serious, but I had that little bit of doubt of just like, this doesn't happen, but this is Web3. Now I know this does happen. This stuff does happen, and I have to trust that. So that was a mistake I made, because I should have done it. But yeah, that's a whole nother story.
What were you afraid of? Like what? Like not believing it was real, just thinking like this is too good to be true, and like, did you like?
It's complicated. I was waiting for something else to
Yeah.
pan out, and it didn't. So I shot myself in the foot by, I believe in word, and waiting for that to happen. And by the time I was like, I can't wait any longer, the job had been filled.
Yeah. And that's why you got to have short memory span. Like, you got to have short memory out here, right? It's just like, and this is why
you got to take opportunities, man.
Yeah. Like, don't be shot. Like, if you're going to be bogged down by the baggage from like the last trade, right? And this is why maybe like my trading background and this mentality for me really helps, is like, I got a super short memory when it comes to like a quote failure or a no, or I don't care. Like, I don't have time to, like, if I waste my time on that, then it's like, I'm just crippling myself moving forward. Right? Like, I can't do it. I don't know how. So it's like, leave the baggage in the past. There's like, control what you can control now. You can that's it. It's gone. It's done. Whether you missed it, you did it, you got it, great. What's next? Right? And you always have to be like looking forward. What did OBL say? She said, for me, the future of media of all types will have a dedicated community connected below it. That shit has major value. OBL, what I said in the beginning of this stream with XAI buying X now, the media, like the content creators, the community builders, we are going to be some of the most powerful voices in media out here in the real world, just on X, if you have a voice. I'm not kidding. When people like, this is where people are going to come. They don't call this the real-time town square for nothing. Human-generated content is invaluable to artificial intelligence. And Elon has that in spades, and that's us. That's us. So while we're trying to figure out how to create all this AI stuff, blah, 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 do not lose sight of the fact that there's humans out here and you're interacting with other humans. And I think that's really what I love when I think about spaces. We're educating people, we're informing them, we're entertaining them at the same time, right? Like it's a big, like fucking cluster.
So valuable.
Yeah. Super valuable, man. Super valuable. Is there anything that you guys, I guess, when you're looking at like where you're currently at, is there anything like specific that you're just like, man, I can't get over? What's the hump? Maybe like, you know, like what's the one thing that you're just like, I wish that it was, I could do this or I had this, right? Like, is there that one thing for you guys?
I think I'm currently tackling it, to be honest. Like that one thing is kind of, I just decided, man, we're gonna go. I think I mentioned earlier, Janie and I are in the believe in ourselves phase to where it's just full throttle. We're going, and we're setting new ceilings for ourselves. We're thinking broader than we were thinking a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago. So I think we're tackling that now. It's just going, just taking action and seeing what seeing what sticks, what doesn't stick, and just go. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's it. And Max, I'll say this too. I know you're saying you got the immediate future kind of figured out, but I'm telling you, like, the end goal is important, right? You need to know like what you're working towards. It doesn't have to be like, I'm not saying you have to like, there's an amount of money or what, there has to be an end goal so that the two, like you have to feel like you're working towards something and make that fucking goal massively big, because the whole like shoot for the moon, like a shoot for the stars, land on the moon type deal. Like, okay, I'm good with that, right? That to me, that's not coming up short. Like you've exceeded every fucking goal, milestone, and everything else. But that end piece definitely is like massively, massively crucial for sure. But
I could tell you exactly what Janie and I's end goal is, and we want to pretty much travel the world and get paid to do it somehow.
That's it. That's
what we want to do. Oh, let me rephrase that. That's what we're gonna do.
There you go.
A matter of how we're gonna get there. Yeah.
That's it. That's that positive speak. Yeah, it's a must. Magic, what about you? What's the
mine's I don't know, it's kind of hard to pinpoint for me. I feel like I'm on the same path, I mean, in terms of where I want to get as Max and Janie. I just feel like I'm one step behind them, and I can't put my finger on what that is specifically. So I think I need to really focus in on pushing out more content than I do already. I've been doing more, and I'm seeing like huge value in that, getting more subscribers and thousands of views, and like all that's great. But I mean, Max will tell you, I am so in the moment when I go, you know, whether I'm at Disney parks or live events, that I'm not the content person. So then I get home and I don't really have anything. But you know, he gave me a great idea of, I have backlogs and backlogs of like Disney stuff, and I just need to go in there and get different grabs and put that together. Old content can totally be reused. People just want to see the content. They want to see the parks because they can't be there, but they want to feel like they are there. So yeah, I feel like I'm just trying to hone in on exactly what I want to do specifically, like each day. Like, what is my daily goal? Is it so many posts? Is it having a space every day? And you know, I am doing other things, and so then I have those responsibilities that I also have to maintain. So it's also
Yeah.
finding the balance, right? Then I have a family. I've got kids I got to take to practice and feed and all that kind of stuff. So there's a balance element that I'm trying to get perfected, and it may never be perfect, but that's my OCD.
It never.
I'm very
tell you right
organized.
now, it will they will never. If you are perfection is literally the killer of innovation.
know.
Like of innovation, it's a killer.
I've had these talks with Magic. And I know she's gonna get there soon to the just go portion of where we recently got to. So like, I have no doubt that like you're gonna get there pretty soon. Like I feel it like percolating, and even like
I do
that
too.
content you just said, like the old Disney content. All you have to do is just record yourself like in the little corner, like right here, like of your face talking about the content, and that like makes it current, you know, because you're talking about it today of whatever you recorded back in the day, you know, and people love that stuff. People love just, you know, a face talking about whatever it is. We'll get you sorted, but yeah, we gotta go, Magic. We gotta go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. That's it. And you never, like we said before, who knew people wanted to watch Max watching a basketball game?
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah. But
apparently 200 people wanted to do that. So you never know. That's it. And there's no.
That's the kind of stuff I want to think about. Like, I want to think about like something very unique that like seems is really simplistic in nature.
Yeah.
But could do numbers. I mean, there's been times that I've just thrown on the stream at the park on Twitter. And I'm like, there's like several hundred people in here. Well, okay, there's something to be said here. So I want to like. I want to ideate a lot more. That's where I really want to focus in a lot of my time and energy, is coming up with like, this is a new show I'm going to do, or this is a new piece of content I want to make. Like, I want to do a lot more of the creative process and put pen to paper and come up with a content plan.
Magic. Like, I implore you, do not do it with the numbers in mind. It is not that does it, because
I want something unique.
Yeah, like just do something that you feel like you'd feel good about putting out, right? And it's just like, because of course we're going to ask ourselves, do people really want to see this shit? Like, that's a normal question to ask yourself, right? But here's what I will say. This is why I really love X, is this is a platform where you just get to be real, right? Like, this is real to me. Instagram, I don't need to go see people's fake, like, fancy lives, right? Like that's just me, right? This is where I choose to spend my time. And I'm seeing more and more, this is where more and more people are now coming and consuming like content, because it's real. This is real people having real conversations in real time. I'm not seeing somebody's fucking how successful they are on LinkedIn, or them sitting on a Fugazi plane, you know, set, a private plane set, taking Instagram photos, making it seem like they're on some private jet, right? Like, that's not, for me, that's not, I could care less. But like this place is super valuable. And I think people really need to understand just how valuable it is, how valuable it just became, how more valuable it just became over the weekend with the acquisition, and really the opportunity that's in front of a lot of people. Yo, Max, I'm rooting for you and Janie. Like, Magic, I'm rooting for you, and I'm rooting for every other fucking business owner or like self-starter out here that is on the grind every day trying to make this, because let me tell you, like, we will make it. Wag me. we all might not make it, but at the end of the day, like, you can forge amazing relationships, connections, and if, like Max, like you said, you work your ass off, like you work hard, good things put out, just keep putting stuff out. Good things can't help but happen at that point, man. Yeah. Let's fucking go. Yeah.
What a speech. I got nothing.
Let's go.
Mic drop.
Let's go.
I like having a third person guest over here. You know what I mean? Because it's like, then my ass isn't the one talking the whole time. Yeah,
I can't help that you talk a lot.
No, I'm not blaming you. That did come off sounding very blamey. No, that I didn't mean blamey. I just talk a lot, but it's like, I want to hear other people like now, you know?
Dave's like, I love having a third guest, so I don't have to carry this whole damn show all the time.
You said it, Max. I didn't say that.
And also, quick side note. I just wanted to rub it in Tasha's face that I got on the crypto magic hour before she did. So that's it, Mama. We made it. We're gonna make it out the hood. Let's go. All right.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Mhm.
So I guess we can start winding down. Maybe you guys can say a piece of advice as starting out your own business to people who are listening to this and being like, damn, I do spaces a lot and I do this a lot and I go to a lot of events or I create content. Like, why have I not started my own business? For me, mine's going to be really boring and unsexy, but there is a lot to learn when you are setting up your own business, and it is very, very overwhelming. So make sure you try to do as much research as you can. I mean, Dave was talking about, are you doing S Corp, are you doing LLC, like all that kind of stuff takes, and I still don't understand it all. Or having a resource that is very knowledgeable when you're doing this. I mean, there's a bill due every March when you own, what do I have? I have an LLC, I think. The minimum payment is $800 every single year. I never get a bill. I just have to know to send that money in. If I don't send that money in, come taxes, I get a huge fine. And it's like, well, how did I know I was supposed to pay that? So like, there's all these different things. If you're doing payroll, quarterly taxes, payroll taxes. Like I had payroll a couple years ago, and man, that was a lot of work. And so I would just say, like, make sure you really do a lot of research when setting up a small business so that you don't get yourself caught up in something when you're trying to do it the right way and you just don't know. So that's mine.
She can't help it. Max, she can't help the perfection angle. She can't help it.
It's who I am.
Research everything.
Mhm.
You
It's
can't
who I am.
possibly research everything. There's just certain shit you're gonna have to figure out on the fly. It's like being a parent, right? And I'm not even a parent. Okay, I'm an
You got
uncle to
Bubba?
nieces and nephews. Yeah, I got Bubba. Exactly. There's just certain things you have to figure the fuck out. There's no people can write a million books about it, right? Like how to be the best business owner or the best parent. It's like, yeah, you learn by doing. Right? You're gonna fuck some shit up. You're gonna fuck some shit up. You need to be okay with fucking some of that shit up. What up, Julie? You're gonna be okay with. You got to be okay with fucking some of that shit up. Like that's just a reality. Like if I can count how many times I failed, yeah, Max, go for it.
Yeah. That I'll transition that to with my closing words. But I think you should embrace the fucking stuff up part, because the faster you fuck. That's what I tell my kid all the time. The faster you fuck it up, the faster you know how to fix it. And sometimes you just got to be okay with jumping off of the cliff and figuring out the parachute as you fall. Like I think it is terrifying. But
I don't like that analogy.
But if you have no choice, you will figure it out. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Like whatever it is you guys are doing, whether you want to start a business, start a channel, start whatever. I spent months, potentially years, thinking like, what if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't go well? What if they think this? What if they think? Who cares? Like once you get to the point of who the hell cares, like I know everybody for the most part, hopefully, is blessed to have a support system, whether it's a significant other, a family, a pet, something that a sandwich. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's your why, and really, that's all that's gonna matter. So whatever it is you want to do, if you get ridiculed for it, laughed at, or whatever it does, it really, really, really doesn't matter. Just go for it. Magic, I'm kind of talking to you on this one too. Like you don't get caught up in the minutia of how will this fall in line? How perfect does this need to be before I need to take that first step? Just let's get it. Let's get it.
What's the saying? Those who matter, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like think about that. Right? That there's never been something more true. It's like the people that actually give a shit and that give a fuck that are gonna ride with you are gonna ride with you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. There's gonna be people that don't. Like that's just the bottom line. And that's okay. But
I know I can go out and fail 100 times and Janie will embrace me with the hug every single time until that 101st time that works, And I think there's something special there that we just need to lean on the people that really do matter. Because if starting a business or starting a whatever, if starting anything was easy, everybody would do it, you know? So
Yep.
there's a certain special type of tenacity that it takes to pull your boots, to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and just get it popping, you know?
Facts.
So,
Facts, bro. Preach, Max. Preach. Yeah, man. Yeah, I hope everybody that was watching this obviously took away. I mean, there was some nuggets in this, you know, and I think in my head, I'm like, oh my God, there's probably going to be so many cuts that I'm going to have to put on YouTube and TikTok and this and that. But you know what?
I was thinking that already.
This is where the AI shit's going to actually like really come in.
I was like, there's some gems in here, Dave. I hope you do something with this.
God, like I'm literally thinking to myself, I'm like, do I just hire like an intern? Is that still a thing? Can I get people to do this? No, but then I'm like, maybe I should just do this myself because I'm particular about the way I like things. You know what I mean? Then am I going to spend the time to show somebody how to do it? I might as well do it myself. This is like literally like the mind of a business owner where you're just like, oh, man, this is not easy. This is not easy, you know, but you get shit done, right? Like these are the benefits too, right? It's like, you don't got to work 9 to 5. Like I can work at 8 o'clock. I can work at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 in the morning if I can't sleep, right? I could sleep until 10. I'm in charge of me, right? That's what I'm in charge of. And at the end of the day, even though my organizational skills might suck, I still know when to show up and I show up, right? Like that's what it is. Cause that's
fair.
Showing up. I can't even stress how important just showing up is, right? Just show up. And if you show up and actually do the work, you're like 90% of the way there. But yo, I feel like Max, hearing you say about the whole, like that last piece of like, just like either asking for like the ask for the business. Like, I feel like that's a lot of people that are like, they don't, it's just that thing inside them. That's just like, they were raised right with like good moral compass. They're good people. And they're just like, I don't want to inconvenience them, especially immigrant. Like if your parents were immigrants, like mine were, right? Max, you said like to go to school. If you come from immigrant parents, it's like, that's how you were raised. You can't help it. It's like ingrained in you. Yeah. But luckily, I said, fuck all that. That's not where the money's at. So I'm going to need to unlearn this and learn the other way. But we gotta figure something out to be able to help like everybody, because like I'm really good at that piece. Right. And it's like, if people need help with that piece, maybe it's something simple, right? Like, I don't know what, like, but we got to talk about how we can maybe help people kind of just get over that last hump, because I hear it from a lot of people where I'm like, you drive so much value and you're going to let it slide. Like, just because of like that last thing, like you're at that last piece, like keep going. So yeah, we got to figure something out, Max.
Yeah, that would be great, because a lot of us are struggling with that part, and yes, I think it comes from it's a learned trait that is an unfortunate survival tactic. Yeah, it's an unfortunate survival tactic of our past, but like our future looks a lot different, which was the intention when our parents or our grandparents came over here. But yeah, we need to kind of break that.
Yeah, because when you get a yes, when you ask for it, when you finally like muster it up, right, and you say, this is what it is, these are my prices, this is what I charge, this is my proposal, right, and you're unwavering in it, and you get a yes, I don't think people genuinely understand what that yes actually means. And I just did this with Janie the other day. She called me. She was like, okay, so like, do I put she says her budget's $1,500. Do I put like a $3,000 proposal? I'm like, no. Put forth the work you will do for $1,500. You can give her an ancillary option if you want, but at a minimum, you get that $1,500. That's number one. No questions asked. You lock that up. And then you can talk about a potential upsell or offering something and adding on more, yada, yada, for a little bit more. But where she was currently at was like, she had yet to close a quote Web3 deal. And this one was with, I think it was Decentralized. And it was like, this is like, when she was done, she was like, yeah, they didn't go for 3,000, but we got 1,500. I'm like, dubbed. That's a W right there. That what that does for you now is the same way that the debilitating no, right? You got to leave behind. These you carry with. You take the wins, right? You let it stay here, and that's the mindset you keep moving forward. Fucking exclude all the bullshit. Take the good shit and the wins, and keep getting wins, because you don't need to hit home runs out here. Singles all day. Just be that person. Just keep closing deals and you'll see you'll be good. But yeah, I love these episodes. Yo, Max, thank you, bro, like for coming through. This was incredible, man. Really appreciate you obviously coming on here, bro. This was dope, man. Thank you.
Love you guys. It was an honor. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you, Max. It was really fun. And I want to keep continuing. Dave and I are talking about doing sort of a every other week, going like super like focused, and then having like the human element discussion the following week. And I think it's a really nice balance. So we're gonna keep brainstorming ideas about this kind of stuff, because this one was really fun. But otherwise, we will catch you all next week.
Go check out the new YouTube channel.
The crypto magic hour. Feel the power. Counting coins as we print